From AccuWeather.com, this is AccuWeather Daily, a brief host-read article. It's weather news in a nutshell. Well, a changing weather setup could favor the development of large storm systems capable of spreading snow, ice, and rain from portions of the mountainous northwest into the plains and the east. It is looking much more likely that a major storm with snow and ice will affect the south-central part of the U.S. later this week, with eyes for the Appalachians and Atlantic seaboard this weekend. Through midweek, numerous shots of cold Arctic air and rounds of snow will continue to impact portions of the Midwest, the Great Lakes, and the Northeast states. Frigid, gusty winds blowing across the lakes will promote more rounds of lake-effect snow. Visibility could be sharply reduced in heavy bands of snow, with travel becoming hazardous in some locations. AccuWeather forecasters warn that the cold conditions that have set in across the Midwest and the Northeast will stick around for the foreseeable future. AccuWeather's Peyton Simmers said that cold air will still be in place this weekend, and there is a signal that there can be a storm during that period, which could help to usher snow across the eastern U.S. As the cold lingers and even strengthens as the week progresses, the threat of frostbite and hypothermia will grow for anyone spending significant time outdoors. The sustained Arctic chill will also result in increased heating and energy usage across roughly a third of the nation. From Friday into the weekend, a far-reaching storm is expected to gradually swing out of the Rocky Mountains and into the plains before barreling across the eastern U.S. Given the cold air that will be in place across the region, wintry impacts are likely across a large swath of the storm track. Exactly where this storm sets up and tracks will determine where the snow and ice will be. Residents from Colorado and Wyoming through the Mid-Atlantic and New England coasts are urged to stay on alert for forecast updates, especially with the threat of ice becoming a possibility. AccuWeather's Alex Sosnowski said that the ingredients are coming into place for a long-duration storm that brings a substantial amount of snow, sleet, and freezing rain from Texas and southern portions of the plains to the lower and middle parts of the Mississippi Valley later this week, and then into the east this weekend. There is the potential for snow and ice to reach deep into the heart of Texas and along the Interstate 10 and 20 corridors farther to the east in the central states, and then farther north along the I-81 and 95 corridors. Given the magnitude of the cold air that follows the storm, many areas in the southern states could struggle with an icy grip of winter, with some damage to infrastructure and major travel difficulties, the scope of which will be revealed in the coming days as more details of the storm unfold. As a notable dip of the jet stream pattern becomes more enhanced over the coming weeks, it will help reinforce the cold air filtering southward from Canada. Perhaps the most substantial expanse of cold air for the entire winter will develop later this week and this weekend surrounding the storm. Even into February, AccuWeather long-range forecasters are concerned that the temperature trend will remain below typical for this time of year for a large part of the nation. Joe Lundberg said that AccuWeather's long-range forecast for February calls for below-average temperatures across much of the eastern two-thirds of the nation, with the biggest departures from normal in the Midwest. For areas west of the Rockies, above historical average temperatures are in store, with the greatest departures in the Southwest. Well, some sad news coming out of Australia, as a 12-year-old boy is in critical condition following a shark attack off Sydney's coast. Emergency services were called to Hermitage Foreshore Walk near Shark Beach Sunday afternoon in response to reports that a boy had been bitten by a shark. The boy was rescued from the ocean by Marine Area Command and Eastern Suburbs Police. 2 medical tourniquets were used on the boy as they applied first aid for what police called serious leg injuries before he was transported to the hospital in critical condition. Authorities believe it was possibly a bull shark that attacked the boy. That's all for now. You can find more regional forecasts and science-based articles at AccuWeather.com, and for your local forecast at your fingertips, download the AccuWeather app. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe. I'll be back tomorrow with more from AccuWeather.